Hi guys, welcome back to Pharmacy Friday. Today we are going to talk about yarrow. Yarrow is a really beautiful flower. You will find it out in pastures, in meadows, in fields and alongside the road. And it's a really great herb to utilize in your home pharmacy. I love learning about the history of plants that I use and that I find out in nature. And a really neat piece of information about yarrow is that before the Civil War, during the Civil War and before, battle surgeons used to carry dried yarrow leaves to help stop the bleeding of their soldiers in battle. This was before pharmaceuticals were widely available, before modern medicine, so to speak, was really widely used. So people had to use what was out in nature, what they could find readily available in their own backyards or on their own fields. And they knew this stuff. They knew what plants were good to use for certain ailments and for certain injuries, and one of those things was yarrow. And they used to carry powdered yarrow plants, dried leaves that they had crushed and powdered, and they would pack those dried leaves into the wounds of their soldiers to help stop the bleeding, because that is one of the great benefits of yarrow, is that it stops bleeding. It is amphoteric, meaning that it regulates blood flow. So for wounds, cuts, and nosebleeds, it will help to stop blood flow. Yarrow grows about 3 feet tall, and it has a long stem with very few fern-like leaves. They are kind of opposite each other and they stagger. So one will be on one side, one will be on the other, and then they go the opposite way all down the stem of the plant. They have tiny little white flowers at the top, kind of in an umbrella cluster. So you want to make sure to look for that. For yarrow, we just use the leaves and the flowers. It is best to gather the leaves of yarrow when the flower is blooming, when it's flowering. That's when the constituents of the plant are going to be at their peak. You want to utilize all of that iron, that calcium, all of those good things that are in that plant at the peak times. And so when yarrow is flowering is when those things are going to be best utilized for your home remedies. You could dehydrate yarrow leaves, dry them that way. It does take a little bit of time. Or you could hang bunches of them in the window or in your pantry and let them dry it that way. That will take a couple of weeks, and then you just strip the leaves off of the plant. They come off super easy, and crumble them and put them in a jar, and then you have a readily available source for teas and for injuries that you would need yarrow for. Yarrow is a great plant to use both internally and externally. You can strip off the leaves fresh. Say you have a wound, you're out on a nature walk or something, you get a bloody nose, or you get a cut that is having a hard time forming a scab and stopping bleeding. Just strip those leaves off of yarrow and roll them together in your hand, pack it on that wound, and wrap a bandage around it or a piece of cloth, and that will help to staunch the bleeding. Internally, it helps to build a support for healthy blood circulation. It helps to dilate the capillaries, those tiny little blood vessels that run throughout your body. It opens those and relieves high blood pressure. It lowers your blood pressure because your heart is not going to be straining and stressing to pump more blood throughout your body. So same way that, say, Tylenol works to open up your blood vessels and thin out your blood a little bit, so this will work in the same kind of way to open up your capillaries, increase that blood flow, and really just help to purify those toxins, move those toxins through your blood, and get things working the way that they should be. For, say, menstruation, if you take it regularly as a tea, you steep those leaves, that will help to regulate menstruation in women. For suppressed or heavy blood flow, it will help to normalize that. And also, as a benefit, it helps to relieve cramps. Yarrow works great in sitz baths. You know, we all know how that is after you have a baby. The doctor gives you that little bottle, and if you were to steep some yarrow leaves in water and strain those out, put that in that bottle and use that, that would really help to heal your body naturally after childbirth, to kind of staunch that blood flow and heal that injury. I really want to stress how important it is that you know what you are gathering in the wild. There are a lot of lookalikes out there, a lot of similar plants that that might seem like one thing, but they're really another. And sometimes those mistakes can be really harmful. You want to make sure that you are correctly identifying your plants. I always carry a couple of books with me when I go foraging or gathering these plants. One of them is the Peterson Field Guide to Medicinal Plants and Herbs. This is a wonderful resource. There are lots of pictures and descriptions, very in-depth descriptions about the flowers and the leaves and the roots and all those parts that you're going to use for different plants. It tells you where to find them, how to harvest them, and sometimes even what they're used for. This book has them organized by the color of the plant or the color of the flower. And then in the back there are the trees and the shrubs and things that are not flowering. But this is a really great book to have, and I would recommend taking at least, at a minimum, 2 ID books with you. You want to make sure that sometimes pictures aren't that great in one book and they might be better in another book. You want to make sure to balance that out so that you can do your very best when you are identifying plants. So I really can't stress enough the importance of being able to identify your plants. These books are not that much on Amazon. Sometimes you could find them at book sales or thrift stores, but it really is worth it to get some good guides that you can take with you. They aren't heavy. You know, you could put them in a backpack when you go out, and to also just read those books to know what you're looking for, and to get familiarized with these plants that you are wanting to use. I just really appreciate you guys coming along for all of our videos, and this is something that I really enjoy myself and for my family, is being able to take care of them just naturally and with what's around us. Living out in the country, you know, we are not super close to a hospital or a doctor's office or a pharmacy, and it's really nice just to be able to know what's in our garden, in our fields around us, and be able to utilize those resources that God has given us to take care of ourselves and our well-being. So I hope you are enjoying these Pharmacy Fridays. They'll continue for as long as I have plants to harvest. So I really enjoy you guys coming along and sharing this with us. Thank you for watching, and we will see you next week.